What's going on, y'all? This is vlog time. This is vlog number 5. Update on my weeks and how it's going. Uh, it's going a lot better. So I've written down quite a few things to kind of go over and discuss. Gonna jump around per usual. It's kind of stream of consciousness. I'm gonna be as organized as possible, but to cover some of the topics that I want to discuss is mostly going to be for how, kind of like last week, about things that bodybuilders or preppers don't really talk about. I think I talked about the tendency for people to portray a hardcore atmosphere or lifestyle or whatever it is about the sport, and not acknowledge that it's not hardcore compared to so many other things that people do and put themselves through not by choice. And that's really what I wanted to underscore, is the fact that this is a choice ultimately, and it's a luxury. So this time I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mental side, kind of has been the theme in general, and there is what I think is commonly referred to as kind of prep brain, where um, you'll get symptoms of kind of brain fog, irritation, kind of the normal things that people talk about. But I think what some people don't realize is that there's this anxiety slash kind of like paranoia slash hyper focus, erratic thinking that happens when you're dieting for a long time. And it will kind of creep up on you as far as my experience goes. You just start overanalyzing things, and I think partly it's due to the lack of as much quality sleep. Like, I'll look at my sleep readout, and even though it'll say like great sleep or good sleep or something like that, I notice that the REM sleep is less than I typically get, which I think that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. I'm not a sleep scientist or anything knowledgeable enough about to talk in depth about that. I just know, the basic kind of different stages of sleep. But I think that probably plays something to do with it, because it that's the one variable that is the most impacted outside of just the diet itself. And obviously you're going to have elevated cortisol levels, so that probably has something to do with it. But I'm assuming that maybe the elevated cortisol levels also impact circadian rhythm, which also impacts the quality or the amount of REM sleep. Anyway, all that being said, last week and a half, 2 weeks ish, granted, the weather's been really gloomy and rainy, and there's been a lot of like natural disaster events that haven't also been contributing to just an overall good vibe in general. And sunshine, it plays a role in feeling better and like lively. That's why they have seasonal affective disorder in the winter, because people don't get the sun. And anyway, so when it's gloomy, it does affect moods. But in addition to that, I had also been kind of adjusting and acclimating to the lowered calories. And today, actually yesterday and the day before, the last 3 days have been much better. It's like my body has reached a level of homeostasis with the new calorie adjustment that I'm on. And I still feel fatigued as far as physically, I'm not feeling quite as fresh on my upper body in particular. I don't feel as recovered, but then I've also kind of been probably flirting with the edge a little bit more than I need to, as far as training goes. I'm gonna meet with Coach Jeff tomorrow and ask him, where he feels like I should. I kind of like, I have a tendency to try and push a little bit more than I need to. And he's told me that before. He's like, "Oh, I've watched some of your sets and I thought you were going to stop, but then you continued." And he goes, "You don't always have to do that." So he leaves those things mostly up to me. But, I do like to run things by him. Obviously, he's my coach. And then as far as like diet, I have changed the way that I'm positioning certain macronutrients and playing around with that. So I've definitely lightened up the carbs at the evening and moved them much more heavy in the morning around my training, which I knew I was going to have to do, but typically I like to delay that as much as possible just because who doesn't like carbs at night, right? They release serotonin, they make you sleep well, plus you can get a little bit of dessert and all those things, but prioritizing training is the number one goal. And then I need to buckle down and get a little bit more disciplined as I was before on my sleep timing and schedule. I'm not too far out of where I was. I've been kind of getting into bed closer to 10 and I I fall asleep right away, but I'm staying outside of the bed and going to bed at that time and then falling asleep versus I would go to bed around like 9 and probably read or just, close my eyes and still fall asleep maybe around like 9:30 or 10, but I need to get into that habit of just getting back into bed. And part of it has been because I have been watching a lot of YouTube. Go figure, right? A YouTuber watching YouTube. I don't even know if I can call myself a YouTuber, but anyway, uh, I like watching a lot of food. I've always liked food and cooking and nutrition and all of those things. It's part of the reason why I like bodybuilding so much. But particularly when I am calorically restricted, I enjoy living vicariously through other people on TV. Not only did I already watch a bunch of Food Network stuff to begin with, but the volume of that increases as I get deeper into the contest prep. Just I don't know what it is. It's this psychological weird thing that I just put myself through. Masochist, maybe. Maybe that goes with the whole dieting and enjoying prep so much. I don't know. I think perhaps competitors, some of us are masochists deep down. But anyway, that's kind of been the update there. Training, like I said, has been going pretty good. It's been oscillating. I was feeling really strong on some pushing movements. Yeah, some pushing movements, and then it switched over to pulling. And now I feel like my pulling is kind of going down a little. Well, not going down, but I don't feel as strong in my pulling as I did before, and my pressing is still has been maintaining, if not feeling really good. So that's how that goes. Weight, I have been staying around the 151s. Today, I actually hit 150 for the second time, and I am thinking that it's truly I am closer to 150 because I look and feel leaner as well. Yesterday, I felt like a bag of bricks, like physically. Mentally, I felt great. Like I was good mentally, but physically, yeah, definitely a bag of bricks. My lower body wasn't feeling it as much. Woke up today, upper body still feeling it, lower still felt good, but I slept really well. Got a good lower training session in today, and now I am feeling it. I did get about 100 grams of carbs in, um, about 45, 50 before training, and another 45, 50 after training. So that was nice. And then I ate I think 40 for lunch. So I'm probably sitting somewhere in that 120 to 130 right now. And I have another 50-ish to go for the day. So that's where I'm at there. Um, but that's a recap. What else? What else do I want to talk about? I think that's it for now. That's just been a little download. I'm gonna make a video for first time competitors because there are some people that have reached out in the past and more recently asking my opinion about competing and what to expect and all of those things. So I think I might do a little series on that. So stay tuned for that. As always, if you stuck with me to the end of this, I greatly appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.